Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind. I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening, Mohit, Megha, Shubham, Naman. Good evening. So, I hope all of you are doing well and I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Good evening. Okay, so good evening and welcome to the session. Now, in today's session, the topics which we are going to discuss, if you look at it, the first topic which we are going to discuss is about India and United States extradition treaty. Okay, so you may have seen that like a person who is involved in the 26/11 attacks in Mumbai, he has been extradited from US. So in that context, the thing which we are going to discuss is not about the person. We are going to discuss about the extradition treaty between US and India, because there is a chance that you can get a question about this, that what may be the elements of extradition treaty between India and US. Okay, so that is one of the topic which we are going to discuss. Second topic which we are going to discuss is PM portion scheme. So this is one of the topic which is like recently there in the news. Why? The central government has increased its share of expenditure under this PM portion scheme. So for that matter, we are going to see that what is this PM portion scheme, what are the elements of it. So that is one point. Okay. The third thing is we are going to talk about this IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency. We are going to see that what is this organization, and we are going to talk a little bit about this part also, that Iran, its nuclear deal, its nuclear like aspirations, and US. Okay, so that is one part. The fourth thing which we are going to talk about is the gestational diabetes, the diabetes which is related to pregnancy. Yes, there is this one thing, like you may have seen on this channel itself, that we have a video with respect to the type of diabetes in India. On this channel itself, it is a video of one of the classes in NCERT. So in that we have discussed that there are two types of diabetes which are generally common, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is genetic, generally occurs in the children at the early age, and type 2, which is the lifestyle disease, which is the more common one. Okay. So there is another type of diabetes, gestational diabetes. So what is that? We are going to see that today, that what is this gestational diabetes, why it is caused, and how it can be, like how people who are suffering from this can also recover from it. Okay. These are the topics which we are going to study. But before that, let us discuss some questions. Again, one question on the governor. The governor is quite in limelight. So we will see many questions about governor. So this is the first question. Both the president and the governor have the power to pardon death sentences. The president can grant pardons in all cases where the punishment is by a court martial. The governor can commute a death sentence to life imprisonment only in cases involving state laws. So that is question number 1. We have discussed this in the previous classes, the power of pardoning of governor as well as the president. So this first statement is saying both the governor and the president have the same power to pardon death sentences. Second thing is, president can grant pardons in all cases where the punishment is by a court martial. And the third is, the governor can commute a death sentence to life imprisonment only in cases involving state laws. So you have to tell which of them are correct. Tough question. Okay, one answer is B from Prachi. Anyone else? What about other people? Okay, one answer is C option, one answer is B option, and D option also. D option is one only. Also, this is one of the previous patterns of UPSC. Like only one, only two, only three is, or all three are always there. But then even in these questions, you may get confused from time to time. Okay, A option, B option, C and D option. Let's see this part. See, both the president and governor have the power to pardon. Pardon means to completely remove the conviction and all. Pardoning power means to give the complete pardon, pardon from the sentence also, pardon from the conviction also. While governor can commute a death sentence, he doesn't have the power to pardon a death sentence. Pardoning means giving complete relief from the conviction also, from the punishment also. So that can be done only by the president. The first option here is incorrect. Second option is correct. The president can grant pardons in all cases where the punishment is by a court martial. So president has the power to grant this pardon. Okay. President is like the superpower. That is means president has the power in all cases. So that is correct. Okay. Now the third thing is the governor can commute a death sentence in cases to life imprisonment only in cases involving state laws. So yes, in case of union laws, it can be done by the president. In case of state laws, it can be done by the state government or the governor of the state. So here option 2 and 3 are correct. The answer will be option number B. Option B is 2 and 3. So that is going to be the correct answer. Okay. Now, coming to second question. With reference to the Nilgiri tar, consider the following statement. It is the only wild goat species endemic to the Indian subcontinent. It has the same status in the IUCN Red List as tigers. It is the state animal of Kerala. So tell me about the second question. Nilgiri tar. The second question, which is with respect to Nilgiri tar. So you have to tell me that when we are talking about the Nilgiri tar, which one will be correct here? Okay, one answer is option number A. A option is 1 and 2. Okay. So I think with this option you are able to eliminate. So that became an easy question. You all know that it is the state animal of Tamil Nadu. So with that easy option you are able to eliminate. So yes, I can understand that. So yes, answer is option number 1 and 2, but that was elimination. Okay. The first question was challenging one. Okay. That second question, second part is the first statement may have been challenging but remain. It is one of that wild species of India, wild goat species of India, which is endemic to India. Okay. Second thing is it has the same status in IUCN as the tiger. So this first and second is correct. Third one is incorrect. Now coming to the third question, consider the following pairs: Solomon Island, South China Sea; Cook Island, Pacific Ocean; New Caledonia, South China Sea. How many of the above pairs are correctly matched? This is question number 3. How many of the above pairs are correctly matched? So look at this question. How many of the above pairs are correctly matched? So what will be the answer here? Option A, okay. Option A, option B. Fine. I think most of the people are going for option number A. Right? So see, If we are looking at New Caledonia, you know that this is part of the South Pacific Ocean. So this is part of the Pacific. This is part of the Pacific. Even the Cook Island, it is also part of Pacific. And Solomon Island, that is also part of the Pacific. So all these three islands are part of the Pacific Ocean. See, all these three are important islands for this year examination. For this year examination, these three islands are very important places in news. Okay. So if you look at them, Solomon Island is here. Solomon Island is here. It was there in the news because in 2022, it has made a secret deal with China. So it has given many such strategically important assets, or it has given this option to China to use the Solomon Island as its military base. Okay, so that's why it came into news. Now recently, New Zealand is very much like dissatisfied with this Cook Island. Cook Island has also started having good relations with China. So New Zealand is not very happy with this. Okay, so Cook Island has been in the news throughout the last year in 2024. And then we have, of course, the New Caledonia. Can you tell me why this New Caledonia was there in the news? Anyone, can you tell me why do we have this New Caledonia in the news? Why New Caledonia is there in the news? What is the reason? Why it was there in the news? For what reason this small island was there in the news? That is the main thing. French citizenship row. Basically, like the French government has made important changes in this constitution of New Caledonia. It is a French territory. Earlier it was having this autonomy in most of the cases, but now its autonomy is being like reduced by the French government. So that's why New Caledonia has been there in the news. Okay. So now we are coming to today's discussion, today's topic. So the thing is, India-US extradition treaty. India-US extradition treaty. So now you know that like the Jabur Hussain Rana, okay, he is one of the masterminds of 26/11 attacks in Mumbai. So now he was hiding there in US. Okay, so now over the last 10 to 12 years, with numerous efforts and numerous such like judicial proceedings going on, numerous requests, and after everything, finally he has been extradited successfully to India. Okay, so you don't have to see that timeline. That is not relevant for the exam purpose. That may be interesting from reading point of perspective, but not from the examination purpose. What is relevant for us is the extradition treaty. So can you tell me, when did India sign an extradition treaty with the United States? From when we are having this extradition treaty with this United States? So that is the question. Can you tell me about this part, that when we have this extradition treaty with US? When did we got this extradition? Not read. No, it is not even given in this article. Okay. If we talk about this extradition treaty, see, it was signed in 25th June. It was signed on 25th June 1997. So it is not a new treaty. This treaty has been in force for more than 27 years now. So we have got this in 1997 itself, and it came into force in 1999. Okay. So this is a bilateral agreement that allows the extradition of persons who are accused of a crime for which imprisonment is more than 1 year. Okay. So what we see that a person who is accused or convicted of an extraditable offense in one country and found in other. So suppose that if a criminal of US is there and he is hiding in India, so under the extradition treaty, that person can be extradited back to US. So if a person who has done some crime in US, So this is a bilateral agreement. This is a bilateral agreement. So we will also have to give them back. Okay. So what we see that, like, what are those extraditable offenses? Those offenses which are punishable by more than 1 year imprisonment in both countries. Okay. So if there is any such crime in which imprisonment is of more than 1 year, so that becomes an extraditable offense. Okay. At the same time, it covers crime like terrorism, murder, rape, fraud, money laundering, drug trafficking. All these things are included as part of this extraditable offense. So if a person is there, either like he is hiding in US and he is accused, even accused, not only convicted, accused also. So this, see this part, even if the person is accused of a crime, in that case also, or convicted, in both these cases, they can be extradited. So this is one part when the deal was signed and who can be extradited. Now, if you look at this, there are certain exceptions. No political offenses. If extradition means bringing them back. Extradition means bringing them back. Okay. Deported. You may have seen deported, but deported is like even an illegal migrant can be deported. So extradition means we are like demanding that person to be sent back to India in full custody. Okay. Means we want that person in custody from US itself, so that person has to be handed over legally to Indian authorities. Okay. So what we see that extradition is not guaranteed for any such political offenses. If there is a political offense, like suppose that's, for example, you may have seen the issue of Sheikh Hasina and others. So Bangladesh is asking for extradition and all. And there are various sections of, although there is no comment from the government, but there are many people who are saying that the offense of Sheikh Hasina was more of a political offense. So that's why she is not being sent back. So it has not been officially said by the government, but in most of the treaties, what we see that political offenses are not covered. Okay. So this is one part. Now, double jeopardy protection. Okay. So suppose that a person has already been punished for a particular crime. So he will not be punished for that crime again in another country. So double jeopardy will not be there. And even there is a capital punishment clause. Okay. Now, there is a capital punishment clause also. Okay. If suppose that if there is any such case in which there is option of capital punishment, so in that case, although India and US doesn't have that challenge, capital punishment is allowed in India also, capital punishment is allowed in US also. So there is no such challenge for India and US in that manner. Okay. That in case of capital punishment, there will be consideration. So this part is open to interpretation from time to time. It is open to interpretation from time to time. So sometimes a country may refuse on this ground. But in case of India and in case of US, capital punishment is not an issue. Capital punishment simply means death punishment. Capital punishment means hanging, death punishment. So in case of India and US, it is not a challenge. We also allow capital punishment. US also allows capital punishment. There are some countries in the world which say that no, capital punishment should not be there. Okay, especially the European countries. After killing various people for centuries, now they have suddenly said that capital punishment is bad thing. Okay. So that is Europe. Okay. So this is one thing. What we see that in case of India and US, there are certain exceptions like political offenses and no double jeopardy. Okay. So these are the major things. And in case of capital punishment, there can be some considerations, but it is not always that it will be denied. Okay. So this is one part. I hope it is clear. I hope this part is clear that what we mean in case of India and US relation. Guwahati seminar, no. Like you know that so many classes are going. If I go out, then the crash course classes, the current affair classes, the offline classes and the morning classes, that all will be affected. फिर आप ही लोग बोलोगे सर हमारी क्लास क्यों नहीं हो रही. Okay, so that is also one part. So we will meet you soon there, but not today. After April I am free. After the end of April, then I will be free. Okay. Now see, when we are talking here, India-US extradition. So see, at the same time, we are having around 50 countries. India has got extradition treaties with almost 50 countries. All those things which are there in dark green, they are all having extradition treaty with India. You will see that the major states which are there, most of the major countries which are there, we have extradition treaty with most of them. Okay. The bigger states or bigger countries, we have extradition treaty with most of them. Then with some of them, the light blue, we are having extradition arrangements. And the gray ones, which are white or grayish ones, for them, we don't have any extradition treaty or arrangement. So you don't have to remember all those countries. In the recent times, you have seen Bangladesh. Okay. So for Bangladesh, we have the extradition treaty. For US, we have extradition treaty. For Russia, we have extradition arrangement. For Australia, extradition arrangement. Means we will discuss. It will vary case to case. Okay. So this is one part. The first topic, extradition treaty. Okay. Now, let's come to the second topic, PM Poshan. So can you tell me, what was the name of PM Poshan earlier? Like this PM Poshan scheme, what was its earlier name? What did we use to call this PM Poshan scheme? It was known by which name? Yes, correct. The PM Poshan scheme is simply our midday meal scheme. So now it has got a new name. Okay. It has got this new name, PM Poshan scheme. In 2019 itself, it was renamed as PM Poshan scheme. Earlier, it was known as simply midday meal scheme. Okay. So can you tell me, this scheme, is it centrally sponsored? Is it centrally sponsored or central sector scheme? Or central sector? Is it centrally sponsored or central sector? Of course, this midday meal scheme was renamed as this PM Poshan scheme. So, is it a centrally sponsored scheme or a central sector scheme? You know that there are questions like this, central sector or centrally sponsored. So, what will be the nature? It is going to be a centrally sponsored scheme. This is a centrally sponsored scheme. So, what we see that centrally sponsored scheme, it means sharing of fund. Sharing of fund between union and state. Between union and states. Okay. Now, this scheme is applicable across. This is applicable across all government and government aided school. Means in all those schools where government is giving some donation or government is running the school, in all these schools, this PM Poshan scheme is applicable. Now there is one more question. Can you tell me, this midday meal scheme is applicable for whom? Like up to which class? The students up to which class can get this benefit of midday meal scheme? That is also one part, that the students of up to what class can get the benefit of this midday meal scheme. Which class students will be able to get the benefit of this? Ha. So it is valid from class 1 to class 8. Okay. For children or students from class 1 to class 8. From class 1 to 8. Those students who are there in Anganwadi, they are already getting the food. Okay. So this midday meal scheme is applicable for the students who are from class 1 to class 8. They will be getting the benefit of this PM Poshan scheme. Now there is another part of it. This PM Poshan scheme, there is a mandatory clause of social audit. There is a mandatory clause of social audit. Means social audit has been made mandatory under this PM Poshan scheme. So that is also one of the remarkable part of this. Okay. Even there is a focus on local procurement of food items. Now you don't have to see this part, that how much gram of pulses, how much gram of cereals, how much gram of rice, or how much gram of vegetables will be given. So you don't have to see that. You know that they are not calculating by grams. Okay. So that is not an important part. Now coming to this one significant aspect, the significance of this. What is the significance of this PM Poshan scheme? What is the significance? Social audit means like the people in that area, they will be inspecting if the scheme is being implemented properly or not. If the scheme is being properly implemented or not, the people in that area, the guardians of that area, they can verify this part. So that is what we call as social audit. So tell me about this one portion. What is the significance of this? Why we are still continuing? Why we are still continuing with this PM Poshan scheme? What is the significance? Why we are continuing with this part? See, you have to learn this part of relating the topics. We have to learn this art of relating the topics with each other. Like how this is going to benefit. Increase attendance, okay, attracting the admission of students, fine. Anything else? See, there is at least 4 things which you can see from here. First thing is, of course, school enrollment. The school enrollment. And you know that there is one thing. Article 21A. Article 21A. Article 21A, that is about the right to education. The fundamental right to education is being fulfilled having by the school enrollment or having them in schools. Okay. So there is one part. Second benefit is the nutritional profile. The nutrition profile of students. Nutrition profile of children, that is also going to improve. Nutrition profile of children is going to improve. At the same time, what we will also see that there will be lesser prevalence of child labor. Lesser prevalence of child labor. Now when they are in schools, there will be lesser prevalence of the child labor. At the same time, better demographic performance. Better demographic performance. Better demographic performance. So our demography will be like getting more of such skills in the schools. If they are going into the schools, they are going to learn something. They are going to develop their skills. So this is also going to help us economically, of course, in the future. So midday meal scheme has been a revolutionary scheme in India. It has brought like up to 100% enrollment in schools, and it has changed. It has changed the demography of India. Of course, the results will be seen in the present time. This process, which started almost 20 years ago, is now starting to bearing the fruits of it. Okay. So yes, malnutrition will improve, nutrition profile of children is going to improve, lesser prevalence of child labor, better demographic performance, and even the parents and all, they will have much more free time. Okay. They will have much more free time. They will be working on their part. They will be working for their house. How lesser prevalence of child labor? You may have seen, if children are not going to school, they are being sent by their parents to different shops, or they are working with the farm, working on the farm itself, working at the house itself, or working on some shops or businesses run by the family. Okay. Even they are not going to the study, they are working at the home. So at least if they are out of the school, out of the home for like 5 or 6 hours, there is lesser chances of child labor. Okay. The lesser prevalence of child labor is there. Okay. And once the children start studying, they will not go for that much of work. Okay. They will start focusing that first they will have all sort of time for their homeworks, their school, then they will go out to play also. So it's like now lesser number of people will be working on the fields and all. Okay. So this is the second part, PM portion scheme. Now coming to the third portion, there is one thing called as IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency. International Atomic Energy Agency. So can you tell me about this? That this organization, first let us talk about the context here. Okay. There is a country called as Iran. Okay. This Iran is developing the nuclear weapons. Iran is developing nuclear weapons, and this is being said allegedly. There is an allegation, there is an accusation that Iran is developing nuclear weapons. Now there are some countries of the world, they have decided that only a few countries in the world can have nuclear weapons. The other countries are not allowed to have it. So they have signed, they have done a NPT, non-proliferation treaty. They have formed a non-proliferation treaty, and they have got a NSG group also, nuclear supplier group also. So there is a NPT and NSG. So NPT simply bans all other country to have nuclear weapons. They say that only P5 is going to possess nuclear weapon. Apart from the P5, the others will not be allowed to have it. Apart from the P5 countries, others will not be allowed to have it. Then we have seen Israel has acquired it, India has acquired it, Pakistan has acquired it. Okay. So these countries have already acquired this nuclear weapons. Now they are saying that other countries cannot get this. I have told you one story about Ukraine. If you have seen the previous sessions, we have discussed about Ukraine. In 1994, Ukraine was having the largest stockpile of nuclear weapons after US and Russia. It was having the third largest nuclear stockpiles. Then US and Russia and Britain asked Ukraine to destroy its nuclear weapon. And now what we see that Ukraine has been invaded, Ukraine has been destroyed by Russia, US has been a party of it, Britain has been a mute spectator. Okay. So we see that if countries are not having nuclear weapons, what challenges they may face. So now Iran is one country which is allegedly developing its nuclear weapons according to US. There have been various deals in the past. In 2016-18 also, there have been signing of deals in which Iran said that okay fine, we will not develop the nuclear weapons. But later on, when Trump came in first era, he cancelled that deal. Then Iran said that, okay, fine, we are going to develop our nuclear weapons again. So that is the context. And in that, we are going to discuss about one international agency, that is IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency. Okay. So let us look at this. If we talk about this, it was established in July 29, 1957. It has been headquartered at Vienna and Austria, and it has got this motto that atoms for peace and development. It is having the motto atoms for peace and development. That is the motto of IAEA. Okay. Now, what is the main objective of this? Prevent the spread of nuclear weapons, promote peaceful nuclear technology, ensure nuclear safety and security, and verify compliance. There are 4 tasks of it. First thing is the non-proliferation. There is one thing called as non-proliferation. Means it says that the other countries will not acquire nuclear weapons. Second, it says that you can use the nuclear tech. You can use the nuclear tech, but for what purpose? For the purpose of medicine, agriculture and energy. For medicine, agriculture and energy, you can use the atoms or nuclear technology. The third thing, which it says that safety and security, nuclear safety and security worldwide. And fourth part, verifying the compliance. Means it just wants to check all around the world. If any country is having any nuclear technology, suppose India is having any such nuclear power plant. India is having a nuclear power plant. So what IAEA will do? It will have inspections of our nuclear power plant. For what purpose? To verify that are the nuclear materials properly disposed or not? Are they being used for creating any nuclear weapon or not? So IAEA is verifying compliance, that whether all the countries of the world, are they adhering to the NPT or not? Are they adhering to NPT or not? That is being verified by this IAEA. So it is verifying the compliance. Now, let me tell you one part. This non-proliferation treaty, India is not a signatory, not signed. We have not signed this NPT. We have not signed this NPT. And still, we allow the IAEA to visit and inspect all our civil nuclear facilities. Okay. So IAEA, this International Atomic Energy Agency, it can verify or inspect. It can verify or inspect civil nuclear facilities of India. So India says to this IAEA that okay, you can come to India, and if you want to verify, you can verify any such civil nuclear facilities in India. But we don't only have civil nuclear facilities. We have military nuclear facilities also. We have defense nuclear facilities also. And that is not allowed to be inspected by any agency of the world. Why? Because we are not signatory to NPT. So we allow them a partial verification that okay, you can come, you can check our civil nuclear facilities, but you cannot enter our military nuclear facilities. Of course, we are a nuclear power. We have the nuclear weapons and we will develop it as much as we want, as much we require. So India allows the IAEA verification even though India is not a party to NPT. Okay. So that is like when we are dealing with other countries, why do we allow this? See the context. Like why do we allow this? Why do we allow this? Even though we are not a party of NPT, so why do we allow this? We allow this so that we can tell other countries of the world Let's see, if you are giving us nuclear material or if you are giving us nuclear technology, we are going to use it exclusively in our civil nuclear facilities. Like suppose if US is giving us nuclear material, so we will use this only in civil nuclear facilities. We will not use at the military nuclear facilities. Okay. So this is one part. When we deal with the other part of the world, when we are making deals with Japan or when we are making deals with Australia or Kazakhstan or other countries, we say them simply this part that okay, your nuclear material, your nuclear technology is going to be used only in our civil nuclear facilities. For our military nuclear facilities, we deal with separate countries, we deal with separate in a separate arrangement. We get it from Russia also, we get it from Central Asian countries also, but especially that yes, we want it for our defense. Okay. So yes, of course we are having our defense capabilities, but we don't mix it. We don't mix the civil as well as nuclear. Okay. So remember this part, IAEA, this is an agency, this is a global agency, and it is there as part of NPT, it is verifying the compliance. Now, India is not a party, but still India says that, okay, come to our home, visit our civil nuclear facilities, you can verify it there, you can check the compliance over there, but not in the military facilities. Okay. So I hope this part is clear, what is IAEA and what it can do. यूएस अदर कंट्रीज को न्यूक्लियर वेपन डिस्ट्रॉय करने को क्यों बोलते हैं एंड इंडिया को क्यों मना कर रहे थे न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स रिसर्च करने से? बिकॉज यूएस वांट्स टू मेंटेन इट्स हेजेमनी. यूएस वांट्स टू मेंटेन इट्स हेजेमनी. So there is a simple concept. If a country is not very much powerful, you can use all your force, you can have various pressures on that. But when a country is powerful, you cannot ask them to go as per your will. So US doesn't want any other country to acquire nuclear weapons, because when a country is having nuclear weapon, it means that is a powerful country. Okay. And why we have developed this? The same concept. Once APJ Abdul Kalam has said this one simple line, strength, respect, strength. So that for that simple reason, we have got this nuclear weapons. Okay. So this is one part, IAEA and Iran. Now, coming to the next portion, the gestational diabetes. So, this is the one topic which was there in the news today, gestational diabetes. So, let us see that what is this gestational diabetes, what causes this problem, and what can be the possible remedy. Okay. Now, in the beginning of class itself, I told you that generally we are having two types of diabetes, type 1, type 2. Type 1 is basically a genetic issue. It develops in the child at the early stage. And type 2 is something which develops in a later stage of time. It is mainly a lifestyle related disease. Okay. So type 2 diabetes occurs in the age normally 40 to 50s or later. Although in the present times, even those who are of 30 years of age, they are now having this problem of gestational diabetes. Okay. So let us see what is this gestational diabetes. Okay. See, it is a diabetes which develops during pregnancy between 24 to 28 weeks. Okay. So it is one problem which occurs during this 24 to 28 weeks. And why? What is the reason? See, the hormones from the placenta, they interfere with the insulin. The hormones which are there in the placenta, they are interfering with the insulin, and this is what we call as insulin resistance. Okay. And due to this, what may happen that the pancreas may not produce enough insulin to overcome this resistance. Okay. So in that situation, the blood glucose level may increase and women may have diabetes during the pregnancy. So what we see that this is one thing which occurs between 24 to 28 weeks. Why does it occur? It occurs because of the placenta the hormones coming from placenta which interferes with the insulin. Okay, it interferes with the insulin, and the pancreas are not able to make sufficient amount of insulin. So in that case, there is increased level of glucose or sugar in our blood. Okay, so this causes this gestational diabetes. Okay, now what is the problem? There is a risk to the baby. The baby can have macrosomia. There can be a problem of macrosomia. Macrosomia means simply very large baby. So that may be fatal for the women also. If the baby grows too, like if there is too much growth of the baby, that may lead to premature deliveries also, or it can cause complications during the delivery as well. Okay. Second thing is preterm birth complication like shoulder dystocia. Okay. Low blood sugar after birth and higher risk of obesity. Okay. The child may have this type 2 diabetes later in the life. Okay. So at the early stage, if the child is exposed to this problem, they can have this type 2 diabetes in later stage of life, if the health style or lifestyle is not that much good. Okay. There is problem after delivery also. Generally what we see that this gestational diabetes, usually it is a temporary diabetes. So usually it resolves after this delivery. But higher risk of type 2 diabetes can be there for both mother and child. If proper treatment is not received, if they are not able to maintain the food and diet patterns, then there can be chances of type 2 diabetes also. Okay. So it is like this gestational diabetes can be resolved also. It can be simply resolved by taking good care after the birth of the child. But if good care is not taken, it can also lead to a permanent type 2 diabetes case, where insulin level is not sufficient enough to maintain the optimum sugar level in the blood, optimum glucose level in the blood. So that is our gestational diabetes. Remember what was the reason? The reason was placenta hormone. When the placenta hormone, when this interferes with the insulin, so then there is development of insulin resistance. And this insulin resistance can lead to the problem of gestational diabetes. Okay. So this is the problem which was there in the newspaper also today. So you have to just know that what is causing diabetes. If you have not seen what causes type 1 and type 2 diabetes, just on this channel itself, in one of the video, you will find this problem of type 1 and type 2 diabetes that is discussed in detail. So you can see that also. Okay. The gestational diabetes found only in women. How means? Of course, it will be in women only. Na? It is during the pregnancy. It is during the pregnancy, so it is there in women. Child may acquire it from the mother. Child may acquire it from the mother. So after the birth of the child, in later stages of the child, then the child may also develop this diabetes problem, type 2 diabetes. But of course, gestational diabetes will be there in women only. Okay. Yes, Anjali, please. So there is one case study. Last day also we have seen. Okay. Last day also we have seen that in Uttar Pradesh, what was the order of city administration. So you have another part, like suppose when you are writing about women and sensitiveness of the administration. So you have this one case study which you can again quote. Okay. It is about gender sensitiveness. It is about gender sensitiveness in schools or administration. Okay. So what has happened here, that basically in Coimbatore district, what we see that in Coimbatore district, In Coimbatore district in Tamil Nadu, a girl was made to sit outside class to write the exam. Why? Because she was going through her menstrual cycle. So of course the principal has been suspended. Okay. So there is a right to education, that is a fundamental right. So that is being violated here. Okay. So what has happened that in Coimbatore district, in a school, a girl child was asked to sit outside as she was through her menstrual cycle. Okay. So what we see that the concept of impurity with respect to menstrual cycle is still very much prevalent in our society. There is this tradition in many of our like societies, in many of our culture, that they relate menstrual cycle with impurity. Now, of course, tradition, culture, or religion can go by its own norms, by its own tradition. But schools are not run by traditions, schools are not run by religion. School is being run by government under the right to education. So right to education is a fundamental right which supersedes all religion, culture, tradition, and everything. Okay. So the simple concept is there is more and more need of a sensitivity in the society, especially in the administration, in the schools, colleges, all about this. That first of thing, like they have to tell people about the menstrual cycle. In many of the villages, in many of the areas, still people are not aware about the menstrual cycle properly. Okay, so it is something which like people have to tell to females also, to males also. They have to educate both the genders about it, plus the society also. So all those people who have their own traditions and culture, they can keep it in their private space. But a school is a public space where right to freedom of education will take the precedence over all culture, all tradition, all religious norms. Okay. So this is one part of case study which you can put there. Okay. You are feeling low? See, the simple thing is essentially like from time to time, of course, there are multiple challenges in our life. There are so many things which goes on. Like sometimes it may feel like many of you are going for exam also, and in that situation, feeling low is normal. But then the thing is, like, you have to keep yourself up. You have to like motivate yourself from internal part, means from your conscience only. Even if you have heard something bad, even if you are going through a phase of extreme like depression, or you are feeling low for any reason, just try to tell yourself that this too shall pass. This too shall pass. There is nothing as important as yourself. In the present times, in any time, you will find that there will be difficulty, there will be good times, bad times, each and everything. But there is one thing, all those things which you may feel right now that it is very much problematic, it is the worst thing of the life, just remember this one part, it will pass also, it shall also pass. Okay, so just focus on that part and see all these feelings and everything, they are internal. You can decide yourself to be happy even in a very sad moment. You know, if you read bio, you will find this part that the forebrain of our body is responsible for all the emotions. So yes, develop your skill, develop your command over your body, over your brain, that you will change your mindset at any point of time. Even if you are saddened by something, even if you don't like it, try to cope up with it. It is totally under your control. Okay. So this is one part which you have to do. Keep yourself up. If you like any song, if you like any movies which can lift you up, try to watching that. Okay. So do anything which can lift you up. And remember one core part. It is all your thinking. It is all your thinking, and everything which is a problem, which is also, that is also going to pass. Okay. So that will be all. Okay. Keep yourself up. That will bring you happiness. Okay. Listen to some music, listen to something, and believe in yourself that you can change anything. That is the only point. It is all up to you. Everything is up to you. Okay. So thank you everyone. Brain and mind practicing is required. You have to manage your emotions. Right now in the next, like those who are going for exams also, or even otherwise. See, when you are preparing for UPSC, remember one thing. It is the preparation of your emotions also. It is a very roller coaster ride. It is a very much roller coaster ride. Sometimes you will feel very much up, sometimes down. So it is a roller coaster ride, and you have to learn to keep yourself up. Okay. So thank you everyone. Next we will meet on Monday. Tomorrow is Saturday. So we will meet again on Monday, and then we will discuss remaining current affairs. Do one thing. In this week also we have discussed some case studies. We have read certain topics. A very important topic was part of the governors related judgment, and then we have seen about Bangladesh also, US extradition treaty also, all these things. So revise them, and let's meet on Monday then we will discuss remaining things. Thank you, take care, and all the best. Thank you.